And welcome to episode, I don't even know what episode we're on. 29? 29.
29 or 30, I think.
I don't know. This is an amazing episode today, folks. We have big episode. We have one of the most hated people in the world of Candlepin Bowling. He's wearing a Toronto wig. And one of the most liked by Brian and I.
Oh, absolutely.
So we are, again, episode 30. I don't know, whatever episode of Ripping the Rack podcast this is. Good Tuesday morning to everyone. This is your co-host, Tim. And to my right and to your left or up on top or maybe even on the bottom, I don't know, is my other co-host, Brian. Brian, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
That's enough.
What's going on?
And,
it doesn't matter what you want to say.
Sassy pants on today.
Oh, you have no fucking idea how sassy pants I have on right now. And,
I'm excited.
And on my left, might be your right, maybe on the up, maybe on the down, we have the one and only Mr. Calvin Locke from Moncton, Canada. Calvin,
hello,
how are you, buddy?
Thanks for joining us.
Go, not a problem at all. Sitting here, COVID times, nothing else to do.
That's right. Might as well wear some toilet paper like you have on. So that's good.
Well, it is nice and white, that's for sure.
Hey, but you know what? It's not a Habs jersey because the Habs are a dumpster fire.
Oh, that's true. Angel Paquette, the Habs suck.
And Jerry Dunn.
And Jerry Dunn.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Who else is Habs fans that we know?
Hoagie's a Habs fan, I'm pretty sure.
Is he really?
I think so. If not, maybe he's a Leafs fan. I always mix those two up.
Well, either way, he's wrong. So that's
sure.
Good.
As long as he's not a Bruins fan, I don't have to hate him, so it's all good.
Oh. Bruins fan.
Woo-hoo. Bruins fan.
Guy.
Yeah. Bruins fan, Pats fan. Oh my God, Tim. Why do I like you?
Red Sox fan and
Red Sox fan. Why do I like you? I never understand this.
I'm worse. I'm a Sox fan and a Bruins fan, a Celtics fan, and a Cowboys fan.
Well, yeah, I don't have any dislike for the Cowboys, so I think we're good there.
Well, how can you dislike a team that sucked for the last 30 years?
How can you dislike a team that's 4 games under 500 and still a chance to win the division? Like, how? How could you dislike a team like that?
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's just wrong on so many levels. Many levels.
Not only wrong in that they're probably gonna win the division, is that they're gonna get a home playoff game,
which they'll probably win.
Yeah, probably.
Just to screw with your draft pick, Brian.
Of course, yeah. We're never gonna get any better.
So
it's okay.
So, folks, on today's episode, we do have a couple of questions from our 5 listeners. I have posed some questions to Brian and Calvin, and I figure I would probably just chat as well because, well, Calvin's, I hate to say it, I'm going to boost his ego a little bit because we know Calvin has no ego at all. None. Calvin is, for those of you that don't know Calvin, or you're listening from overseas or whatever, Calvin is one of the more accomplished bowlers in the ranks of Candlepin Bowling. I think I had him in the top 3. I think I had him in the top 3 of the current Canadian bowlers. Didn't I? Or was it top 5?
I don't either.
Yeah, but you didn't draft him on your all-time Worlds team.
Up top there, Brian, and a boy.
Yeah, but I also weren't going to draft 2 girls either, so... Ooh. Calvin, high five me, buddy. High five me.
Yeah. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on that because I'm gonna let Calvin really offend everyone in this episode, because that's why we brought him on, for some shock value. He is our Howard Stern. So I will jump right into a question from a listener. It is our pal Ivan Drago's cousin Ryan. Ryan Drago. And I know he listens to the show because he actually started the email with "It's your pal Ivan Drago's cousin Ryan." So, Ryan, we appreciate that.
Just don't suck your cousin on us.
Yeah. So, question 1: have any of you ever tried duckpin bowling? It also has a unique history of its own, just like Candlepin. There's an excellent 4-part documentary on YouTube about duckpin that was filmed back in 2007. Definitely a must-watch. I can answer that pretty simply. No, I have never tried duckpin.
I have. I duckpin bowled in Connecticut when my wife and I went to visit her friends. She went to school at UConn, so she still has some friends in the Hartford area, and we actually went duck pin bowling, and it's a lot of fun. Um, it's like a combination of 10 pin and candle pin because you throw the ball. It's a little bit bigger than a candle pin, like you can't palm it as well. Um, but when you knock them down, there's conveyor belts in the gutters, so they take them out, or they drop down and a sweep takes everything out, so there's no wood.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, that's probably the only one I haven't done because we had I guess in the Fairlanes, the Halifax Fairlanes, they had the 5 pin, but I did 5 pin when I was younger. I did the youth, and we went out to nationals and stuff like out west, and so that was pretty good. And then I've done even lawn bowling. We have a club in Riverview.
No way.
Yeah. Bocce?
That's cool.
We have a bocce bar in Camden.
Trust me,
Tim.
you think you think candle pin's hard? Lawn bowling is a challenge because there's different balls with different like divots in them, so they curve a different way, and you have to curve them. Oh man, it's a challenge.
That's cool.
And you're throwing it at this little tiny ball that's no bigger than Tim's nut. Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know. One of them's pretty big, so you got to figure out which.
His one good one.
Yeah, it's my one good nut that wasn't injured in the Great Bike Accident of 1986.
Okay.
Yeah. Terrible times. Question number 2. Being competitive candlepin bowlers, do you feel being in a more competitive tournament, league, or a similar atmosphere gives bowlers the motivation to do better, improve their game, or apply themselves to more competitive tournaments? I can answer that in one word. Yes.
Is that all we're getting out of you is one word answers?
Yes to all.
Yes to all.
Yes to all. I can tell you, so as most of you guys know, that listen to this, I've been doing this a little bit of time. I think this is my I think this is my 30th year of what I would call competitive bowling, meaning adult tournaments, non-handicap, scratch bowling. Which, if I'm probably not mistaken, Brian, you're 35, so basically you were 5. And Calvin, how old are you?
32 or 31. I don't even remember anymore.
God, that's it.
Yeah, I know. Everybody says that. That's all you are. Yeah.
God, I thought 31. you were like 46 or something.
Oh, pretty close. I'm getting there. Isn't that what it is? Your mind is whatever, your age is whatever, and your knees. Yeah, my knees are about 46.
Yeah, so my knees are about 78.
Yeah.
My mind is 21, and my body is in that mid 50s range.
21? You're giving yourself 21?
Oh, with my mind?
I'd have gone like 18, maybe.
Okay, well, 18 to 21.
He had
I'm
the
good
numbers
with that.
right, but he had them reversed.
That's what it is.
It's my dyslexia. It was kicking in. But ultimately,
you're about to see a cat in the video.
Nice. Oh, hey, kitty.
Oh, hello, kitty.
Yeah.
I shut my door. Well, where's your better half?
She's down in bed because she didn't want to make noise. And yeah, I know, right? What am I doing up here on this? No.
And you're on a podcast while your wife is in bed.
Yeah. Wow, she went down just because I was on the podcast. She didn't want to make too much noise.
She could have been on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know that she'd want to do that.
That may be another reason why she went downstairs.
That could have been the other reason.
That could have been the other
reason. It's 8 o'clock there. It's late.
Yeah, it's bedtime. We're on vacation though. So
they're on vacation, so
we don't.
Well, there you go.
So ultimately, sorry, Ryan. Yes, I absolutely being in a competitive league, tournaments, bowling with people that are better than you, on a regular basis is absolutely 100% going to make you a better bowler. What about you guys?
It won't be a whole lot of fun for a while until you get better, but it helps.
To be honest, I think you'd want to be better, but you need to actually go out and practice to be better, because you can sit there and want to be better, but if you don't go out and put the work in, like Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice. But practice makes you better, right? So the more you get out and bowl, if you need to bowl 2 or 3, because I used to bowl two leagues a week and weekend tournaments, so you're looking at 13, 14 strings a week, and I know a lot of people did more. So it takes the time to get in there, and especially in candlepin bowling, to be able to read all the shots and do all that. Yeah, you're gonna need to put the practice in, but it definitely makes you want to be better for sure.
Yeah.
Is that, Calvin? Is that about what you? I mean, did you go in and practice at all? Like actually just go in by yourself and throw strings, or was it leagues and tournaments that you basically?
Leagues and tournaments, when I would go in and practice is, come Worlds time, the team wanted to go out or come. We used to have our men's provincials, come May. So we'd have the teams, like we'd have, there was 2 Fredericton teams. So they both went in and we kind of had a head-to-head matchup, 5 strings, team pays the lineage or whatever. So we'd have stuff. That would probably be the only time I'd go in and practice, is when I felt like I should get that extra practice so that I'm ready to go for 33 strings in a week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a lot of bowling.
Plus playoffs, because I don't get to sit in playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah, we're talking about
playoffs?
Yeah. Main event doesn't know much about that anymore, or NWO or whatever.
I don't know. I got kicked off. I got kicked off.
We got kicked off.
Yeah, you both did.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, shit happens. I still give Evan shit about that one.
Yeah.
That's okay. Do I hear you better?
Oh, did you hear?
I heard you better half.
Yeah, she made an appearance. Look,
Put her on,
there
let's
she
see.
is.
Hi, Julie.
She can't hear you, but they said hi.
Tell her we said hi. Yeah, so that's, from a question standpoint, that's what we had. So absolutely, Ryan, you are correct. You are going to improve your game by bowling and participating in Scratch and Pro Series and these types of events. As Brian said, you're certainly gonna take your bumps along the way, but we all had to.
You put the work in. You're gonna want to put the work in, because you're gonna get sick of getting your ass kicked.
Yes. Yeah. Before we jump into those questions, I do want to give a shout out to Cole Fry and Trisha Hughes Smith. They won the turkey shootout this weekend at 1710 Sports Center in Augusta. They bowled fantastic all weekend. They went undefeated in the round robin and obviously did not lose in the playoffs. So,
who'd they beat in the finals, Tim?
Oh, some has been by the name of Tim Matero and Amanda Carroll. Okay. Amanda's not the has been, by the way.
Don't touch that cord either.
No. Amanda bowled. Look, Amanda bowled fantastic.
She beat you.
Yeah,
by one pin, I heard.
By one pin, and I'm okay with that, because
you're supposed to pick up your pins, Tim.
Yeah,
I did enough for us to win up until that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the bigger series. Evan Riva, I think he was around a 128 to a 130. Cole was a 125. I was 125-ish, 126. Amanda was 125, 126. Mark Weber was 125. He bowled well all weekend. Maddie Kelly was 120. So, no, it was fun tournament. It was nice to see. I suspect that's going to be the last tournament for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
COVID's finally getting cracked down on everybody.
Like Maine now has a travel restriction on Massachusetts. New Hampshire has a travel restriction on Massachusetts.
And Maine.
No.
No,
you can still go to New Hampshire, and New Hampshire can come here. But I just, unfortunately, I feel as though you are going to see you're going to see shutdowns again, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to be the last of the tournaments for a while. There are a couple that are starting back up. In January, things have already filled up, which is kind of cool to see. I really want the border to open back up so we can get back and forth.
Are you guys bowling at all up there, Calvin?
Not tournaments. Like we have Corey has his once a month King of the Hill, and then Nova Scotia has a few tournaments here and there. But with everything, because we've had a lot of cases come up here in New Brunswick, and there's a outbreak in Halifax, So with
Oh.
that, there's going to be a lot. Like they put in more restrictions in Halifax that you have to wear masks all the time, no matter what. Like approach, if you're on the approach, everything, no matter what you're doing, you have to wear a mask. So that's going to hinder a lot of people because a lot of people don't want to bowl. Like especially me, you know, you throw the ball 60 miles an hour and you're out of breath after the first two balls. So to have a mask on and have that restriction, I don't think I could do it. So
Brian does it.
I do. I
Yeah.
bowl every week in mine.
Yeah, he actually wears 2 masks.
yeah.
I do. I
Well,
wear
it's
a
like wearing-
filter and a.
It's like
Brian's
wearing
only
two,
got give or take like 10 or 15 pounds on me, so I think that might affect it a little as well.
and it's like wearing 2. I told him it's like wearing 2 condoms, but hey, that's okay, you know.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Sometimes that's a necessity.
So, well,
Tim didn't go to college. He doesn't
No.
understand that.
Tim went to college. Tim-
Tim
I'm
didn't
sorry.
stay in college.
Tim was never enrolled in college.
Tim was never enrolled in college.
Tim went to colleges.
Tim went to colleges, though. No, so that's yeah. So
Yeah,
shout out
so-
to Cole, and I'll shout out to them. They bowled great.
Yeah.
Shout out to my partner Amanda. She carried my fat ass, so I'm very, very pleased with that. Some great bowling, great friends. Obviously, that's as I've gotten older, I think I've taken more and more pleasure in seeing people and just having fun. And again, still competitive, but
Yeah.
I just don't tell people, but I actually miss people. So even Calvin, I miss
Listen,
Calvin.
Listen, we
Yeah.
don't need to go there because I don't need to tell people I miss them. It's good. I keep that on the down low.
He has a reputation to uphold, Tim.
Yeah.
That's right. So let's get into offending people.
All right. I'm
All
excited.
right, Calvin, I'm gonna before we jump into this thing,
Okay.
there was a wonderful episode on Facebook. I am going to let you either A, muddy the waters more,
Yeah.
or I'm going to let you clear the air.
All right.
Have the floor.
How we can do both. How about we do that? So
Hell yeah.
how about we do that? I can muddy the waters a little bit more, but I can also try to clear the air and see if we can, I guess, lessen people's offense towards anything. Now, most people who know me and most people who don't understand that what I say on the internet doesn't mean a lick. I say that just for the pure enjoyment of getting people riled up. It is enjoyable to me. And everybody who really knows me knows that that's what I do. So any females who took offense to what I said about the worlds being the worlds and the women's being the women's and everything, I was not offending you one bit. Any woman, if they want to go and bowl in a tournament, go bowl. I don't care. Do it. If you're invited, go. Now, when it comes to men's worlds, whether it's called worlds or men's worlds, it is men's tournament. We're just purely not going to open it up to women. We have the mixed worlds. If that's a big deal, that because it's capped, because we have 3 women and 4 guys, and you want to open it all up, fine. We can have men's teams. We can have women's teams. If that's the big deal about it, that you want to have that sort of, I guess, equality, if that's what you want to get at, then perfectly fine. But we're not going to open up the men's worlds to invite women in just because it happened this one time. We had restrictions on bowlers. We had restrictions on teams coming from Canada. It was not the worlds. It was a candlepin for cancer. It was a completely different tournament. Then they opened it up to women. Great. Maddie bowled well. Now, Maddie, you're probably going to get offended by this, and I am perfectly okay with that. If you want to be offended, that is fine. You bowled great. You bowled great in a mediocre Worlds tournament. I could hand you 15 to 30 higher average bowlers that weren't there. Simple as that. No Canadian teams were there. Nothing like that. You bowled well. You held your own. Great. You did. But that doesn't, I guess, mean that you are a top tier bowler, whatever you want to call it. Listen, I'd invite you if we had it and opened it up. If you want to throw your $100 down at the singles, fine. Come and prove yourself. Throw your $100 down. We'll bowl the singles. We'll do whatever. If you want to challenge, that's fine. But you bowled well in a well tournament. Not a great tournament, a well tournament. Now, again, if you want to get offended by that, perfectly fine. You can come talk to me anytime you want. I am available 24/7 if you want to talk about this. That's fine. Now, another topic that, because I have talked to numerous women about this whole situation, most of our top women bowlers, and I have told to probably the top woman bowler in the bowling community, I would say, I would put her there, that in a regular 24 team Worlds, she would be possibly first off the bench on every team and maybe crack top 5 in 12 to 14 of the 24 teams. And she 100% agreed with me. It's not to offend any women about how they bowled or whether they held their own or whatever they did. But it was good bowling in a mediocre Worlds. And that's about as good as I can put it.
Fair enough.
Yep.
If anybody has any more questions, I'm free to answer. I don't mind. I'm not offending anyone. I'm not saying women are lesser than men at anything or whatever. I'm telling you that it was good bowling in a mediocre Worlds.
Again, that to me, that's fair enough. Mm-hmm. I have gone on record, and it was on record on that Facebook post, that the men's used to be the men's Worlds, now whatever it's called now, the ICC, whatever it is, is a men's tournament and should stay a men's tournament. The ladies have their ladies Worlds, they have their ladies internationals. Guys can't bowl in that.
No.
So if the ladies want their own tournament and the men want their own tournament, then it stays that no reason for it to change.
And we have the mixed Worlds.
And we have the mixed Worlds. So I went on record. I put that on there. Again, I put it on with no offense meant, just stating that that's it.
You said it nicer than me, though.
Well, that is true.
Not nicer, just less blunt.
Yes, less. You're right.
Well, no, I mean, mine was pretty blunt. I mean, it was factual, and it said what I need to say. Yeah. And again, that is nothing against Amanda Carroll or Maddie Kelly or Jill Wood or Tasha Murray. And I think we can all sit here, the three of us can sit here and say those 4 women are probably the best 4 women bowlers in the game right now. There are some up-and-coming bowlers that are going to challenge them probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I think we all know some. Shannon Scribner, perfect example. She is a great woman bowler. She's going to be a great women's bowler.
Yeah.
And we could probably give, Lori Lewis is going to be up there. You could start naming women, and they can all compete, at the high level of the women bowlers. But Brian and I had this conversation of this last week when Brian was going to take, Jill and Tasha.
Jill and Tasha, yeah.
And, let's face it, in a week-long tournament, are they going to bowl better than a Sean Dion? Now, I left Sean off my top 10, off my roster.
I would too. I bowled with him.
But I use him as an example because Sean's a great bowler.
Yeah.
And I love Sean. Even though he's a Blue Jays fan, I love Sean. And I think the world of him, and I think he's a hell of a bowler. And I hate when I have to bowl against him because I know, number one, he could squash me like a bug. because literally he is twice my size. But, I also know in a week-long tournament, his average over the course of that week is more than likely going to be better than Jill's or anyone else's. Again, I'm just basing this on 30 years or 28 years of bowling in the Worlds.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was my team against your team in a 3-string match.
Oh, we'd crush him, Brian. Don't worry.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
It would be a fun. No, it would have been a fun match. If I took that team that I put together, those guys in their prime against the team Brian had, and all of those guys in their prime. I mean, you're obviously, Calvin, you're past your prime, so.
Oh, absolutely past my prime.
God, yeah.
I hit my prime 2 years ago when I threw 514, and that was it. That was the end of her.
I gotta admit, I would have loved to have seen that.
Well, you can see the last 6 boxes.
You can?
Oh yeah, I'll share them with you after. I'll show you the last 6 boxes.
You have that?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. That'd be cool.
That's awesome.
Adam recorded it.
Okay.
And he's got it posted. Well, he had it posted on his Facebook, so I saved them, and so I have it on my Facebook. So I'll send it to you.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because the only one that I've ever seen, obviously, is mine. Because why the hell wouldn't I watch mine? And that was the last 5 boxes of my 500 at Oakland Park.
Against my team.
That was against Brian's team. That was a good night.
It's a good spot to have it. Yeah.
That was a good night. That was fun.
And then about 3 months later, he watched me and went, "Oh no, I might not have that anymore," because I went on the same 2 lanes. I went for 65 and had a legit shot until I punched a spread eagle back-to-back boxes in the back half of the last string.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
I need a better angle at my
threw
TV.
It straight through it.
Better. So I posed a question to you guys because I had it asked of me this week.
Okay.
As we all know, with houses closing, we are losing some of our bigger houses, or we have lost some of our bigger houses that can host the Worlds.
Absolutely. I think we're down to one. Well, technically 2, because Kingswood still has 28 lanes, but we're down to, I think, 3 in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's Unbelievable Lanes?
No, Unbelievable doesn't have enough.
Ooh.
Oh.
Unbelievable only has 18 or 16.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they had 24.
Sackville? Lower Sackville?
Yeah, at Bayers Road.
Yeah.
Bayers Road is 1. Bible Hill, but nobody wants to go there because so they have 12 open, and then they have 6 back to back with each other. So they 12 total.
Oh,
6 on one end, 6 on the other end. So it's 12 total, but they're all back to back with each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So nobody wants to go there, and then you have the 2 in New Brunswick. So you'd have Kingswood and Moncton.
Okay. And of course, in Maine, the only place that can hold it in Maine is Bangor.
Yeah.
Westport.
Okay. The only place that can hold it in Maine is Bangor. Look, and that's not a knock on Westport. Calvin, you've never bowled in Westport. It's a cool house. I love Rose. Rose is is she the owner or the manager? I think she's the owner.
She's the manager.
Oh, she's the manager.
I think she's the manager.
Okay.
Because I think the car place out back actually owns the building.
Okay. So Westport, 24 lanes. I had to give you how tough this is. I had the lane record at 1330 for 10 strings. And then the next day it got beat with 1390 and I lost the main state elimination again. So it's just it's an old school house. I don't think there's enough parking.
They had a Pro Series there.
They did?
Yeah, they had a 10-stringer Pro Series there and 1245 won it.
Yeah.
That's how fast it is.
Yeah. It's tough. It's just a tough house. So Bangor and Westport and New Hampshire, Lakeside, and Timmy has already said he won't host it again. Leda Lanes, and that would be tough. Calvin, you bowled at Lita, right?
Yeah, I went to the
You
20
went to
stringer,
the
yeah.
Yep. So you know that
That
place.
scoring would be a nightmare for the Worlds.
Yes. The
Yeah.
scoring will be a nightmare, and you've got 20 lanes on one and 20 on the other. So they're back to back. So you could do it 12 and 12.
That would actually be
Yeah.
cool to have the divisions like
That'd be
that.
kind of
Oh
neat.
yeah, absolutely.
But the scoring would be a nightmare there.
Pinfall might be too.
Pinfall would be tough. They'd have to make some changes.
I'd rather have tough than.
Honestly, what I want is I want Halifax fair lanes back again.
Yes.
It
That
was
fair.
It was fast when it needed to be, or if you were throwing a good ball, it was fast. If you were throwing a shitty ball, you weren't going to average 120 throwing a shitty ball.
No.
But it was fair.
Yeah.
Or old school Bangor. That was always fun too. Where was
where
I
the roof falls in? Like
Yeah,
old school Bangor?
before the rain buckets are up there.
We were
The
talking
rain
about
delay?
lanes, which ones can hold the world.
Oh, so in Massachusetts, now this is what Brian deals with every week with Tim going,
Yeah.
squirrel. What you've got Academy, and I can't think of many
Metro?
others. That Metro has enough, but they don't. Woburn has enough.
Metro would be fun.
I can't think. Honestly, there's not a lot. It's just so my thought, and this is what people had asked me is, and I'm going to pose this question to both of you guys. What if we dropped down to 20 teams? So we contracted 4 teams. Hold on. You raise the entry fee a little bit, not a lot. You raise the entry fee a little bit so you can still guarantee 10 grand to the winning team. And you go with 20 teams. That way you can open it up to 20 lane houses or 22 lane house. Portsmouth is 22 lanes. And I think that's kind of what got people thinking was plenty of parking, good food, plenty of space, 22 lanes, can't host it.
Yeah.
Augusta. Calvin, you've bowled in Augusta, right?
Yep.
Okay. Plenty of food, plenty of.
Oh yeah, good food.
Plenty big enough, great food, plenty of parking, solid pinfall. People would have a blast there.
Yeah.
20 lanes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pose this to you guys. Calvin, you go first.
All right. So my big opinion is only because Canadian teams are absolutely dropping. I think we're at 11 and 13, aren't we, for regular Worlds? And really the 11th team is just let's have a franchise. So granted, you probably would I'd say lose some interest in Canadian teams, but the fact that we could go to 10 and 10, like back to even playing field, go 10 and 10, then I'd be okay with it. The only other thing is with the raising of the entrance fee, especially still as our dollar is crap compared to yours.
Yep.
You might run into a little trouble there, but they've been working that out a lot with extra money from when we go down to the States. There's extra money left over that can cover the Canadians and stuff like that, right? So I think if you could draft it up, I'm sure you could make it work, and it would open up to a lot more lanes and a lot more places that Canadians can go to and Americans can come to, because I think there's 3 lanes in Canada that have 20 lanes. So you could open it up to a lot more.
Okay. Brian, what do you think?
I like it and I don't like it for different reasons. Like I hate to see anybody get cut out. And then how do you determine what 2 teams get cut out? I mean, do you have to qualify every year? Is it if you don't make the playoffs, you got to qualify like it used to be in the Can-Am? Like, it just raises that. I mean, I'm for it because if not, we're, like Calvin said, we're going to end up with throw together teams. If anybody thinks that even if this pandemic crap gets better by March, we're still not going to have travel restrictions come November, there are going to be people that aren't going to be able to get around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be a good time to try it, I think, would be this coming year. but we don't know
Yeah,
enough
with-
about the current climate to make
Right.
that decision. But it is the prime opportunity because you're going to get less teams from people not wanting to travel. I think it's what we're going to have to go to eventually, because I think, unfortunately, I think this is going to maybe lead into some economic crap with both countries, and it's going to be harder and harder to front that money. But I think we're going to have to go to 20 teams at some point because we're just not going to have the
sure.
bodies.
No, especially with Canadians. Like, we're definitely down to 11 teams. So, and even to get those 11 teams is tough going to the States. So,
Right.
it's, you know.
So let me pose this, Brian, because you just brought up a good point. That question was asked of me this weekend, and my initial response was I love it. I love the idea. I love the concept of being able to open it up to more houses. You know, places like Augusta, which, oh my God, the Worlds being there would be. How much fun would that be with that pinfall? And I'm not saying it's because it's a fast house. I'm saying it because it's an honest house that it's not Academy when the pins are at 0 degrees and you throw a 115 and you're like, holy crap, that's like throwing a 180 somewhere. Well, okay, I'm lying obviously, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not Kingswood where one pin is that much.
They're all the same now.
Are they?
They're all the same. They got their pins.
Cool. Oh, good.
Because all the lanes they took out, they took the pins that matched up, and they just threw the short ones out.
No, they actually went and got new pins.
That's cool. Great.
That's awesome.
I mean, I suck at bowling, but I'm only averaging 112 there in Corey's monthly tournament. So those pins are rough.
Yeah. Well, they gotta be broken in.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I like the idea of going down to 20 teams. So the question was then posed, well, how do you contract 4 teams? And I was thinking this. There were 2 things I was thinking of. One is, you have 12 and 12, but it's really not. It's really 11 and 13, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
So ultimately, you would have to contract 1 Canadian and 3 American.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is a couple of ways. It's either A, if you made the playoffs the previous year, you're automatically in for the next year. If not, there is a weekend tournament sometime in, I don't know, March, April, something, whatever, where these other teams bowl for the final 5 spots. Because 5 teams make the playoffs, so now you have 5 spots, and that's what you're bowling for over the course of a weekend. Mm-hmm. So that's one way to do it. And then that changes. Hold on, then that changes. You can change that every year. So if you don't make the playoffs, you're back into that qualifier round to try to get in. It's the same thing as European soccer. If you don't, you get relegated. If you don't play well enough, you get relegated. Now, the other thing is, the other way that someone said is, well, what if you just took the 3 lowest performing teams and said, sorry, when one team opens, you now have the next shot.
Yeah.
I mean, here's my problem with the roll-off portion of that.
Yep.
We all know how much that rosters change in the world. You load up a team to get a spot, and then all of a sudden, you don't have any of those guys come November.
Well, that's why you put it in the bylaws. The team that you, unless there's injury involved, the team that you qualify with is the team that you have to go up with.
I was gonna say, because that would start some real interesting sandbagging and loading teams and.
Yep. But that I
don't know if it's more of a do we like it. I think it's we have to be comfortable with that's probably the direction this tournament's going to head.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad. Like bad we drop teams, but good that we're going to start to have it in some houses that deserve to have it. Like Augusta deserves to have that tournament.
Yeah, and I think Mike would take it. I think he would take it in a heartbeat. I think he would love to have it. And then does St. John have? No, that's 18 lanes, isn't it?
18.
No, it's less now. They took the whale room out.
Well, no.
At Fairview.
Oh, at Fairview.
Where the Can-Ams is now.
Yeah, that's 18,
that's only
right?
No, it's only 16.
Oh, that's only 16.
We only fill it up.
Oh, that's right.
Can-Ams, right?
Okay, so St. John. So no houses in St. John.
No.
Could BJ have it in Woodstock?
No, BJ's only got 12.
Okay.
Okay.
Or 10 even, I don't know.
Okay, so you're still looking at Moncton.
What
Yeah.
about Campbellton?
No, 10.
No, 10.
So-
They're underneath the Lions Club. They're not,
That
they're not having enough lanes.
So
would be
okay.
fun, huh? Underneath the
Yeah.
Lions Club, have the
Yeah.
world.
Okay, so I mean, it does open up a few.
Yeah.
You know, and again, here in the States, it opens up some. You know, again, Sanford, I think, is 20 lanes. Rollaway, not Rollaway. Bolorama.
Away, huh?
That was in Biddeford.
Mhm.
I'm had a squirrel moment. So that opens up, you know, Bolorama, it opens up Augusta, it opens up Portsmouth. You know, and then of course there's a bunch of places in Massachusetts that would open up if they wanted to host.
Yep.
So
It's definitely
I
an
don't know.
interesting thought, but you know, like Brian said, it's the only way we're going to find out is if it actually goes in that direction. So,
well, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want there to obviously, you know, we sign up for 24 teams and guys, we got 3 buys because we were only able to get 21 teams.
The issue is, and it
Yeah.
has been for a long time, it's the guys Calvin and I's age. There aren't enough of us to bowl at that level to fill in for the guys that are falling off.
no,
And
absolutely.
I think that's why you've seen the averages trend down. You're getting younger bowlers, but I don't think they're the quality. And you can see that, like the same 15 guys are in the top 15 spots of average every year. And then you
Pretty
kind of
much.
look at it going down, and there's a big parity between those 15 and the rest of the list.
Well, yes, and I can speak from being the old guy here. That's, I guess I'm the one that borders the generations here.
Yeah.
One
You're
of
the
the
Undertaker.
differences.
You're the
I'm
Undertaker.
the Undertaker.
Of Candlepin Bowling.
I am the Undertaker of Candlepin Bowling. Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
God.
See, God,
I know.
damn it,
I
you just-
interrupted him. Yeah, I know. I had him going.
You
God.
did.
Yeah, I got him.
Thanks a lot, Calvin.
All right, move on to the next question. Let's
Move
go.
on to that. Fuck it. We're moving
Oh, this is
on.
the good one. This is the good one. So we'll
Okay.
go with this one.
Okay.
Calvin,
Yes.
your list of top male and female bowlers in the game.
All right. So I talked to Tim earlier, and I asked him, "Am I doing current or all time?"
And
You
what
said
did I
dealer's
say?
choice.
Yeah, dealer's choice. All right. Wow, the women, I'd say, wow, at least the top 4 is pretty easy. I mean, you've got Jill, Tasha, Amanda, Maddie. Now your 5th one, you're kind of got like a toss up. You know, let's say healthy, probably bowling all the time. I'd probably say Brooke. Brooke was really good, and then I mean, she met Mark, and that's a big downfall for everybody. But I mean, before that, she was, you know, winning tournaments here and there, bowling. She bowled with us pregnant, and she still averaged 110. So, like, really, how do you? I don't know, not put her in the conversation. Melissa Sinton. You know, I mean, yes, granted, she had Josh to carry her, but 3 Can-Am titles. They've won, you know, she's on the team meeting team that's won 3 worlds in a row. You know, how do you not put her up there? But so your 5th one, I think, is up in the air. You can juggle with it, but your top 4 is basically your top 4 bowlers right now of women.
And who would you put number 1?
Oh, goodness. Well, I do have to give Jill probably the nod there. I've seen her bowl too much, and the woman's just, she's sharp as can be. I don't know that you can really put anybody above, like, her head is always in the game. She's fully engulfed in bowling, so it's usually, I'd probably go Jill for number 1.
Okay. And that's fair. I have said, and I'm on record as saying, is that you can argue any of those top 4 being number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, except for Maddie, but you know.
I've had the pleasure of bowling with Amanda several times. I struggle I struggle not to put her number 1, only because I've seen her bowl more than I've seen Jill bowl, or more than I've seen Tasha bowl, more than I've seen and more than I've seen Maddie bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I go into Can-Am every year, and whether it's Charlie or whether it's Jeff or whether it's anybody she's been partnered with, as soon as you see Carol on that, list, you're like, oh crap, here comes 140 and here comes a loss that I got to try to make up the next string. So
yeah, so that's just me. It's if you put a gun to my head and said, Tim, who's your top 4, I would probably go Amanda, Jill, and then it's a toss-up with Maddie and Tasha. It just depends on the day. But again, you can put Tasha number 1, and I would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know you're joking with Maddie, but you could put Maddie number 1, and I'd say, okay, that makes sense. Like
international doubles match, Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
Oh my God, that would be
in the Thunderdome.
You know what? That would be. How about this matchup? We'll go American versus
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh,
man, Amanda and Maddie versus Tasha and Jill.
That would be good.
All right, give me your guys here.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
And it's your choice on if you want to go current or all time.
Oh yeah, we'll go current. The all time Surratt, because who takes 6 months off and then comes in and wins a Pro Series tournament? Like
douchebag.
Yeah, I know. I hate him. I hate him too. I told him.
Screw you, Surratt.
Yeah, pretty much. Nate, for sure. Oh, now Hollett isn't really bowling, but he was bowling Worlds. Now, I don't know if I can put him in his right now. Back in the day, he was unbelievable. Get it? Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I get it.
Good there.
Yeah, did you get it? All right. Well, who doesn't have an ego? I'd put me in the top 5, just because you got to have an ego.
That's why I put Tim there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I didn't even put myself in the top 5.
So who do I got? Surratt, Nate, me. Oh, I love Holbrook. How can you not put Holbrook in the top 5? Like, the guy's just a machine.
You know why I don't have him in my top 5? Because you said current.
Because you're an idiot.
I have him in my top 10.
Yeah.
I don't have him in my top 5.
Yeah.
Not current. Again, don't get me wrong. He's still Craig Holbrook.
Yeah.
And he's still arguably one of the top 5 greatest bowlers of all time.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer.
For a reason.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
He is.
All right. Well, then let's go. The way he's been bowling, Chris Merrill, probably right now. Probably be top 5. If you put him in Worlds, he's probably going to be in the top 4 or 5 averages.
Mm-hmm.
And then who would be my 5th one? I'd be a toss-up of about 50 bowlers.
It's hard.
It
is
probably
really difficult.
I probably couldn't name a 5th one right now. Just because it would be a toss-up. Like, I could put Matt Harnett in there. I could still put Baker. Baker still throws.
I see Baker in my mind right now is the best candlepin bowler out there right now. Is Sean Baker.
Yeah, your opinion would be wrong, but it's okay. It's your opinion.
I've seen him bowl.
Everyone has what they all think.
Right.
I have seen him bowl too much lately, meaning the last year, where, look, he's always been a great bowler.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Always been a great bowler.
He was in my top 10, I think, for when Tommy and I did our list of top 25 bowlers of all time.
Yep.
So he was in my top 10, top 15, I think. So
Brian and I have had this conversation. I would go, Baker, LeBlanc, Surratt, Corey.
I knew you'd do that.
I did have Calvin
just to piss me off.
I had you and Calvin. I had you and Corey.
See, all 4. The Calvins. That's all you want. More Calvins.
Oh, you just want all Calvin. All Calvin all the time.
I don't know if I could have more Calvins. Oh my God. I don't know if this world could handle more Calvins.
Oh, it's the
No,
Grace.
no one is ready for Calvin.
No.
one is, yeah.
No. So who? I've asked multiple people this, and it's always a different answer.
Oh, absolutely.
So, who was your favorite Maine bowler that has a name that rhymes
Jesus
with
Christ,
Gim
I hate this.
Didero?
Oh my God. Jim, what was his last name? Jim
Pennell,
Jim Carrero, I think is what his name was. Yeah.
Eddie
Definitely
Guerrero.
Definitely wasn't no Tim Matero, that's for sure.
Oh God, that's so funny. I asked Holbrook that, and he just looked at me like I had 5 heads, and I'm like,
Yeah, what do you mean?
he's like, "What do you mean?" And I looked at him, and then he figured it out what I was saying,
Yeah.
and he just started laughing.
Yeah.
He did. We're over. We can keep going if you guys want, or we can end it.
Hey man, I got nothing but time, so any more questions you want me to rile up some people, go for it.
Well, I don't know as if you really riled anyone out. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Wow,
Do
we
you have a good rant you can go on here at the end?
About what?
Do you think is wrong with Candlepin Bowling
Yeah,
today?
what do you think needs to change with Candlepin Bowling?
Too many stupid people. I don't. I don't know. Everybody needs to stay off Facebook and keep their stupid opinions to themselves. I don't know. There's plenty of things going on in the world right now. No, Candlepin Bowling is really struggling because there's too much technology in the world. There's no, before technology, kids had nothing to do, so parents took them either play sports, play soccer or play whatever, or go to the bowling alley. Now there's, I want to sit home and play my, my Fortnite, and I want to play my this and that, and granted, that could also be the parents are just too lazy and don't give a shit, and they're just saying, yeah, you know what, go ahead. I don't have the energy to take you anywhere today, so I don't know. Maybe that's it. Because when I was younger, every Saturday my parents had me at the bowling alley. So whether that's it or whether it's just too hard, a lot of people find Candlepin bowling maybe too hard. You're not scoring 300 every time. Maybe that's what it is. There's lots of debatable questions. Women want to bowl in men's worlds. I don't know. There's lots of there's lots.
The rent is too damn high.
Yeah, there's just too much going on. I think that it's getting too costly. Like, there was, I think Jamie Boyle, he took it. Wow, this was before Kingswood changed their prices, but he took his family, went for 2 strings, so that was 4 of them, eight strings, and went and played like 10 games or whatever, and it cost them $94.
Oh my God.
So, like, you know what I mean? So it gets pricey. Then you got food. If you want food, there's another $30 if you want some, food for everybody, right? So there's too many things that are hurting the game right now, and I don't think there's any way to fix it. I think we're dying slowly but surely. In about, say 10 or 15 years, Tim, you're not going to want to pick up a ball ever again. Maybe even 5 years. I don't know that you're,
maybe
what I mean?
5 days.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Let me just put it this way. I'm glad I didn't have to bowl tonight.
Right.
No, and I've said this, and I'll say it again, is as long as I can remain competitive, I'm going to want to bowl. I love the sport. Yep. I absolutely love the sport. I find myself having way more fun now than I did 20 years ago when I was winning way more. But I'm having way more fun now because it's become more of, yes, the competition is there, but it's not as cutthroat as it used to be.
Right.
And the fact remains is that I can still compete at a high level, and I can still bowl at a high level. I'd love to think I could do what Craig's doing. I mean, he's 59, I think, 58, 59 years old, and he is still one of the top 5 or 10 bowlers in the game right now. I'd love to think, I turned 50 this coming year. I'd love to think that another 8, 9 years, I could still be doing what Craig's doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. But the minute and I've said it, the minute that my average really starts dropping, And the minute that I really can't do what I used to be able to do,
Yeah.
I will put the balls away. And I will put the shoes away. And I will say so long to, to a game that's frankly been really good to me.
Yeah.
So
I don't have the excitement, I guess, to bowl leagues anymore. Like it's just the commitment factor. But once I lose the excitement of going to tournaments, that will be when that would be the end of it. Because right now I have no qualms about not joining any leagues or not doing anything like that. But any tournament that pops up, I'm game to go. Let's go. Let's have a tournament. I love the competitiveness. I love it all. So,
well, we get
Kelly, when it stops being fun, I'll stop.
Right, exactly. When it stops being fun,
yeah. All right, we got to end this as usual, folks. We appreciate you listening, Calvin. Thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
I'll say it now without even talking to my co-host. Would love to have you on again sometime.
Definitely.
Ripping the Rack Podcast at gmail.com. Ripping the Rack Podcast on Facebook. Ripping the Rack Podcast on YouTube.
Ripping the Rack Podcast on Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast. iTunes.
Calvin Locke on Facebook. clock411 at hotmail.com. Any emails you want to wing to me, here we go.
All right. Guys, we appreciate it. Have a great week. We will see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you, Calvin.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Calvin.